Good afternoon, iRacers. Welcome to Apex Racing TV and the iRacing Le Mans series. We are at Monza this week. Marco, welcome. You were sharing the booth with me for the first time in this series. Normally I'm in the car, just back from holiday, of course, and not had a chance to get back into the rhythm of things. So I thought I'd jump into the booth for a change.
Yeah, also I think you'd be much safer here because we are going to have a very exciting and chaotic race ahead of us, I think. We all know Monza, it's no secret, those chicanes, especially in the first few laps, are going to prove very problematic for these drivers. And we are expecting, of course, easier lapping this time around because of the long straights, but still those chicanes will provide for plenty of passing opportunities later in the race and drama at the beginning of it.
Yeah, definitely. 4 splits today, so pretty sizable one. So be interesting to see what the strength of field is of this one. Yeah, should be, like I say, should make for a good race. Definitely a circuit that's going to play into the hands of the Porsche and the LMP1s. I believe it'll be a great race in GTEs. I'm not sure which car's going to come out on top there. I guess we'll see when we look at the grid in a moment to see exactly what's happening. So drivers have just started qualifying, so we'll try and get that to you in just a second. Mark, are you able to give us a quick rundown, perhaps top 5 of the each of the championships at the moment?
Absolutely, and they should be coming up on your screens, I think, in a second. And then we will talk about GTs because I've got a lot of things say about the cars. It's going, you know, LMP1 is
Don't think I've got the points actually available to show on screen today yet.
So it's not a problem because we are always ready. Just a second and I will give them to you from my secret compartment here in the commentary booth. So in the LMP1 class we have Patrick Wolf leading the way with around 200 points of a lead over Fabrice Cornelis. Marcus Hamilton is in third, Joseph Barton-Harris is in fourth position, and Florian Kruger is in fifth. Now, the HPD LMP2 category, Johan Hart is the leader, very close battle with Justin Hopp, then Neil Andrews, René Penkit and Timo Hayden round up the top 5. Then in the GT class, it's Michele Ricci leading the way with 200 points over David Peña Jimenez. Then it's Carlo Eusebi, Bruno Fontalba, and Marco Gabriele Nesi rounding up the top 5. So, Alex, I was talking to some of the GT to a particular GT driver, which we will not name today, but you can imagine who. And he said that Ferraris are the car to beat here at Monza, but the Porsche could be fast if you can get a nice balance between how hard can you drive on the curbs and how fast can you get through the straights. But we see now, for example, in the left hand of your screen, with a minute left in qualifying, there are 4 Ferraris in the top 4 of the standings. So it looks like those 488s will be the cars to beat, and I don't think I've seen a Ford yet in the field. So looking good for the Ferraris right now, and the Porsche drivers will be at a disadvantage, I think, because, again, the strength of the Porsche is that you can run very hard on the curbs, but if you have to sacrifice that, then you lose a lot of the good capabilities of this car. But that's what we like about this series, you know. Some tracks favor one car, some tracks favor another car, so it's going to be interesting, and I would like to see this happen a lot more in LMP1, where we see that Porsche basically is the car to beat almost everywhere we go.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I'm a massive fan of the Audi. I just prefer driving that car. That's why I have done it in some of the races this season over the Porsche, but it's just not competitive, unfortunately, which is a bit of a shame, but yeah, that's the way of things. So balance of performance, that's a major talking point, isn't it? Always, no matter what series it is that we sort of speak about, whether it be GT3 or now series. Right, I believe we do have a grid, so let's bring it up. Marco, if you wouldn't mind doing the honors for me.
Oh yes. Qualifying is over. Patrick Wolf will start from pole position. Dominic Farber right behind him, and it will be Michael Schwanzel and Thierry Ransen. Then Michel Bittner, Joseph Barton Harris, Sai Andra, David Soranzo, Sylvain Morin, and Pascal Kloderlein. And Arkadiusz Domian will round out the LMP1 field. Then we have, I think, the first LMP2 car of Pascal Stix, Justin Hoppe, Neil Andrews, Paul Antcliffe, Timo Hayden, Jesper Drlika, Marco Jäger, Ronny Durig, and Tanner McCulloch, also in the LMP2. Then Jose Ferpa and René Penkit round up the P2 field. Then in the GTE class, Gianni Vecchio is in pole position, then Patrick Moser, Marco Gabriele Nesi, Jack Sedgwick, Michele Ricci, Ugo Preto. Then Christopher Dambitz, Nathan Parkinson, Cedric Nebelsic, Barry Morrison, Domen Gantar, Mark Matten, and Andy Pearce round up the field. The cars are all lining up before the Ascari chicane, so it will be a short pace lap, thankfully, and then we will be on for 1 hour of excitement. Of course, one stop expected from all the competitors, fuel only. It should be with the LMP1s. Alex, you know them very well, stopping a bit earlier because of their smaller fuel tank, and then we can expect the P2s and the GTs as far as possible into the race.
Yeah, this will be an interesting race. I mean, I don't know. Like I say, I haven't had a chance to really jump in the car to find out what sort of the energy is like in the P1s this week. So I'll get my first bit of running this afternoon or this evening. But I'm suspecting this is going to be a circuit that's going to be pretty critical to manage that. You just don't want to be basically running out of energy in one of the critical points. And we'll see a lot of early overtakes where people perhaps are using the energy a little bit more than perhaps is more sensible then. So it should be it should be interesting the first couple of laps, I think, in P1. I think the P2 class is going to be an absolute fantastic battle. They're really going to have to work the traffic to try and make some moves though. So we'll keep an eye on that. And good field, good turnout tonight. I'm really looking forward to see what goes on in the GTE. Nice to see on the mini map the field spread working out nicely. Patrick Wolf going to take us to the green flag in a moment.
Yeah, it's good to have this big P2 field, so it's going to be a great battle. And I think we have just a few meters left before the pace car makes a hard right, and we are racing here at Monza.
Here we go, Patrick Wolf lights it up then, gets a good launch on everybody else. They're 3 wide behind, and there did not look like a lot of room there, but somehow they've managed to survive. And you can definitely see the people who just planted the button just a little bit more down that first straight just to try and get some sort of track position before the chicane. Always probably the worst turn one on any circuit. The concertina effect there is absolutely huge. Pascal Strix, he managed to hold on to his first position. Justin Hopp in second place in P2, and Neil Andrews there comes out of turn one in third. So good start from P2. What's going on in the GTEs? Gianni led into that corner, comes out of it. Marco's up a place. Your man Michele up 2 spots already. Marco, you'll be happy with that one.
Yeah, and also I'm very happy that I think all went well in all the 3 categories at the first chicane. These are the best drivers on the service, I think, and that shows right now as we see the 2 Ferraris trying to lead and to escape from the Porsche behind them, and it's going to be the slipstream is going to be crucial today. It's imperative that you stay behind the car in front of you as close as possible in order to not lose the draft, because, for example, here Vecchio and Nesi could very well escape from the pack behind them if they work together. Of course, very, very long races. The LMP1s are already back on the start-finish line.
Spreading out quite dramatically, if I'm honest. Did not expect that on lap 1 around here. I was thinking it was going to be very, very tight for the first few laps, but yeah, everyone scampering away from each other. I think that's going to change somewhat once we hit the traffic, and it's only going to take a few laps before that traffic comes into play.
Yes, these cars are so fast, these LMP1s, and this track is basically, I think we will have some action in, I think, around 5 laps from here. Maybe I'm too optimistic, I don't know, but these LMP1s are extremely fast, and Patrick Wolf is already having a good day at the front with 3.1 seconds of a lead over second place, as the P2 category is still pretty close one to the other. So
problem for the leader though. He's dropped down 5 spots now with that little mistake there, and that slowdown penalty that he's serving there seems to be just not going away.
Yeah,
and you know what it's like here at Monza as well. If you get one on the opening laps without a valid sort of optimal, or session optimal time, it just absolutely crucifies you, and you just can't seem to shake them. And that's exactly what's happened. First to 10th in the class. So yeah, major.
It's bad everywhere in the first 2 laps, but especially in a flat-out track like Monza, you are going to pay a much higher price. And it's a matter of inches, especially in the first chicane, but even in the second one, to get the difference between a good corner and a slowdown. It's minimal. You will see, I think, a lot of drivers will be caught out, as we see Jack Sedgwick trying to make a move on Michele Ricci there in the background, coming into the Parabolica corner. Ricci trying to hold on, but the Ferrari looks very, very fast today, as Vecchio and Nesi are already making a gap in front. And I think Jack is trying to get to that party as well. On the inside here at the first chicane, no contest, absolutely faster and faster that Ferrari, and Porsche had no answer there.
No, let's just very, very quickly jump on board with Michele, just to sort of see if he can even keep up in the draft, because that was quite some overspeed that he got there, and he can seem to do that. We can see in the battle box as well that the delta is coming down, but only ever so slowly. So yeah, really struggling with the straight line, and as you alluded to at the start of the broadcast, really taking full advantage of the curbs, but that time just the bounce just sent him a little bit wide.
Yeah, but you see also the Ferrari was able to get a lot of those curves there, so basically all the advantage that the Porsche has is negated here. And of course, when you have the fastest car, the Ferrari is today, and you can also be competitive where the other car has the advantage on you, and when the Porsche has the advantage of running the curves, then the Ferrari will be absolutely a top customer today. And we see already all the other drivers in the Porsche are basically sticking together, I think, as we see Kloderline here and Andra running side by side at the Lesmo corners, the twin right-handers, and
a little bit of contact through Lesmo too.
And now,
fortunately, both survived, but yeah, seriously compromised his exit there. I think he's going to lose another place here as well.
And
indeed he does.
If there's a place where I'm running an LMP1 and I don't want any kind of aero damage, is Monza, because these cars are so aero sensitive, and here you need all the good aero that you can get, especially if you want to be fast on the straights. So that was not good contact in the first 6 minutes of the race. Not recommended, as we see once again on the mini-map. Wolf has checked out from the field.
Yeah, I mean, if we take a quick look at the intervals as well, he's 7.6 seconds clear. I mean, are you seeing that time delta go up as quickly as I am?
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's 8.5 seconds. So that is just insane as well. So he's absolutely flying out there as well. So I think come Le Mans 24, these pure guys are going to be particularly difficult to beat. They've been so fast this season. both Patrick and Fabrice as well.
But now the fun will begin for Patrick, because here come the GT field right in front of him, and these guys are all battling against one another. So it's going to be, he will use the straights to make those passes. Oh, look there, mamma mia, that was so close on the brakes to that Porsche there. And I think Patrick, there's no need to risk making such crazy overtakes, because he knows he has a very, very big gap. So we see Farber here battling with Mittner and Rensen all together. These 3 yellow/orange cars. I believe 2 of them are teammates. Oh, that was an aggressive move by Mittner there, blocked at the entrance of the Parabolica.
Just making sure he covers that off, but like it's going to be somewhat compromised. The Berlin Simsport cars are going to get the run, surely, on the straight. There's actually 3 of them queuing up.
Oh.
Use the slipstream. I'd be surprised if anyone is using a higher downforce here, but you never know. But weren't able to get by that time, so Thierry with good straight line speed out there, so really trimmed out.
Yeah, luckily we don't have Charlie Whiting as a race official today, because he would not have liked all that left and right movement. But I mean, it's okay, as we see Durik making a move, I think, or sorry, Stix is
working his way back through and past Ronnie.
We know he has the pace, but it's not going to be easy. You see the slipstream again working against him. With Durik will try a move once again at the first corner, I think. Hard on the brakes. Stix is able to keep his position, but it's going to be hard for him. You know, you can be the fastest guy, but it's going to be problematic. And I think we have a car stopped at the Lesmo corner. Should be, I think, the Drlica, if I'm not mistaken. There was a car basically stopped there. And now we see on the minimap getting going once again.
Yeah, GTE's now firmly got the P1s coming through. Wolf's already executed the lapping on those guys, so really,
oh man,
this is starting to get just a little bit busy, and needs to be a fair amount of patience out there from the P1 drivers. And I'll happily confess to not being the most patient P1 driver out there. So, but there's a lot of space around this circuit to get moves done.
Yeah, but it gets all of a sudden very, very narrow here at the chicanes. So if you want to make your move, you have plenty of space to do that on the straights. But then in the chicanes, especially if you want to avoid any slowdowns, you have to be very, very careful when lapping around. And to the point of being patient, I understand it in the sense that your patience might be your own undoing, because if the guy you are trying to race is not patient and is able to make 3, 4, 5 straight moves very quickly, you are going to be suddenly very far away from him. As you see one of the Ferraris, Gianni Vecchio, has been in the grass at the Ascari chicane and is losing the lead.
Yeah, straightforward pass then for Marco, just has the extra momentum. Gonna have to hold on to it though. It's extremely close. You just see the P1s going by like they're not even standing still. I have to say, the difference in the acceleration zones is phenomenal once they've got energy. But as soon as you take away the energy and the hybrid systems, they're not a lot of difference, you know, at the end of the straights and things like that. Or if you're trying to accelerate without the energy, you'd be surprised actually. You kind of have to use a bit of power just to make sure you get the passes done.
Yeah, it's that initial boost that it's really, really scary, because these cars are launched basically from a standstill coming out of the corners. You see they are absolutely amazing acceleration coming out of the corners. And now I think Gianni Vecchio will try to get the move back. I don't know what happened there at the chicane. Maybe a mistake, or maybe it was an LMP1 driver making an aggressive move. We don't know what, but what we know is that this battle is going to go on because Gianni will want to get back to this leading position as soon as possible. And the two guys behind them, Cedric and Richie, have not gained much from this exchange, so still looking good for these two Ferraris at the front. Get a mini breakaway from the rest of the pack, maybe, and try to have their own race and maybe battle it out after the pit stops.
A few people crashed out of the race now as well. Jesper was another one that tricked up. Saw him stationary on the mini map, so he's going to be dropping down that order. I do love the Ferrari, actually, the GTE. And yeah, it's going to be a hard push for me to pick a different car come Le Mans, but I think, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
Just got the momentum, picked up the draft. Well, now it's fairly straightforward. You can't pick up that move too much. Just got the move done really on the exit out of the Parabolica. Just thank you very much, and just use the overspeed to come straight through.
Yeah, and to that point, I really never understood why at Monza they put the start and finish line so close to the Parabolica. You could have some amazing 2-3 wide finishes, maybe not in Formula 1, but in a minor series.
Yeah.
But if you see now, the start and finish line is basically right here.
Yeah, I agree.
So
another couple hundred yards or so, and we could, like you say, we could have some ridiculously close ones. As Pascal trying to pick up another one of those places that he lost early on with that slowdown penalty. He goes past Marco Jagger there in the Tequila Padrone car, which can't say I've touched for a long time.
Yeah, and sadly the sponsor will leave real life competition next season.
Oh well.
Those beautiful Nissan DPI cars will have to find a new partner. They have a different partner for the Le Mans 24 because you cannot advertise alcohol in France. Well, when they used to do the 24, they don't do anymore because of the change in regulation. They cannot use the DPI at Le Mans, sadly, I might add. As Justin Hopper is leading over Neil Andrews, almost a second. But Styx is making a great comeback from his earlier problem, and now he will try to get as close as possible to Antcliffe there in P3. He has the time, 45 minutes left.
Possibly another incident gone out there. Someone just jumped back to the pits. Joseph Burton Harris had an issue. Let's have a look, see what's gone on here. Up the inside, and then just got... sorry.
I think he ended up in the wall.
Yeah, accidentally pressing the wrong buttons. But yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's clearly in the wall and game over.
That's what happens when you've got fat fingers, you see, on the mouse, and you accidentally right-click instead of left-click.
My friends know me for my accidental mouse pushing when we play first-person shooters, as we see Porsche with problems. So I'm minding my business, trying to hide from the opponents, and I accidentally click the left mouse button and shoot in the air, and everybody knows where we are. Michele Ricci especially hates me for that when we play together. Christoph Lambitz, P8 right now in Porsche. Beautiful livery, by the way.
Yeah, lovely livery. Didn't help him in the dirt though, did it? So gonna have to clean that off afterwards. Not sure quite what happened. I didn't really pick up exactly how he went off. Let me just see if actually I can probably get it back here and just see if we can see what happened. This is with Cedric, I believe. I've seen Cedric in a few other series. Very quick driver as well. There's a bump there. So, did a Vitaly Petrov, isn't it? Who did that? launched his Renault back in the day?
Yeah, it was at Sepang, I think.
Sepang, of course, but yeah, similar kind of instance.
Yeah, exactly. It's like there is like some mole living out there in the gravel trap, because there was an absolute bump there, a crater, I might add, and that Porsche got launched in the air and hopefully doesn't have any kind of under tray damage or something like that, because that was a very, very hard hit. And you know, these GT cars have a lot of aero production, you know, and they use a lot of their under tray to generate aero and downforce, so you don't want to damage that.
Might have been an accident just a moment ago as well for Cyandra out there. So let's see if I can get that back on replay to see exactly what happened. It looks like it might be a solo mistake though. Not really seeing anything that's gone on there. So perhaps a bit of a false positive on a possible crash from our event viewer there. So have a little look, see if there's anything in and around the chicane. No problem. So, yep, sorry about that. Got all excited for nothing.
Here's Neumann with another Audi, I think. I really like the design of the Audi.
Yeah, I love the shape of the Audi. I have to say our Apex livery looks so much better on the Porsche than it does the Audi, which is a bit of a shame, especially as I prefer driving the Audi, but yeah. Oh, geez, I need to just to sort of Patrick, maybe Justin's going to be the best one. Just look at the traffic on the mini-map. Just look at where it all is right now. It's absolutely insane. It's just literally all on that sort of back straight. There's half a track there that's completely free. So it's really starting to get busy. Give it a couple of more laps and the sort of the P1, P2 traffic is going to be completely embedded into the GTE. So it's going to be, yeah, that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, as we see Pascal 6 gaining again and again over P3 of his category, so it's looking good to get back on the podium. See, third place is just one corner in front of him after the second of the Lesmo corners. Yes, absolutely a traffic jam here, like 5 p.m. going back home from work, traffic jam, because they are all here, you are right.
Yeah, look at it there. So lights are getting flashed, there's lots of drivers wanting to get by. Obviously 3 different classes there, right in shot, look at that, just poof.
Ooh, got to be
so careful. And of course, LMP2 drivers, the HPD, they're not used to having these P1s around them. I mean, it's a season and a half now that they've been there, but they're so used to just sort of doing their own thing as they come through the traffic, and it's a different aspect for those guys. They just have to keep a little lookout, see what's going on behind them, because they can end their race pretty quickly.
Yeah, the LMP2s have the toughest job of them all, I think. All that being the oldest car around, or almost of a generation earlier, even though some of these cars are together. And now we see a great battle here for 7th place, I think. It's Clauderline and Morin going into the first chicane, and I think that Clauderline has the position over the Frenchman, and
actually it's Morin and Newman, isn't it, that were actually battling there. So yeah, Newman trying to come back at him now.
It's Clauderline.
Yeah, I will shut up. I stand corrected.
So I was saying that these LMP2 guys have it very, very difficult. You know, there's no time to talk about anything because there's another attack here at the Lesmo corner. Now it's Neumann trying to make a move on Clauderline as well. So much excitement these 4 guys are providing, and Soranzo is right behind them, trying to use the traffic as a pick, basically. Going side by side into the Ascari corner, not recommended.
Oh no, that's not going to end well, is it? Absolutely not.
And Soranzo is in the grass, and I think he damaged the underside of his Porsche. Also the front right is damaged, he went so hard. You see the replay right now. Great run here, but it's very, very tough to get it right here. Oh, it was very, very... Oh!
I mean,
oh,
the first move he's totally entitled to go for. That second one, I have to say, that's ambitious at best.
Yeah, I know from experience that running on those inside curbs is not recommended with any car, the Mazda MX-5 or the LMP1. Don't do that, guys. Also, I also have to remind that at the Scary Chicane, coming out, I hit one of those things there that Soranzo hit before with a Cadillac, and I flipped it on its hood, basically on the front. The car had a front flip. I hit it so hard, so they are very, very dangerous. They are there, of course, to avoid the track limit abuse, I think, but they are very, very punishing. As Gianni Vecchio has pulled a little bit of a gap over Marco Gabriele Nesi, thanks, I think, in part to the traffic. You see the two Ferraris in the shot, and they are surrounded by LMP2s, LMP1s, all around them.
A lot of traffic out there right now as well. So, but yeah, what's he got? 1.6 seconds. So just slowly built that gap up, and Sedgwick, he's not able to close up as well. The top three are really lapping pretty much within the same 1/10 of a second every lap. So, like you said, it's just really traffic that's sort of separating them out right now. Kaylee Ritchie and Cedric Nebelsiak, they've dropped. They're just a little bit off pace in the 144s, opposed to the 43s. So, again, that could be traffic related, as we see a P1 in the background just absolutely slicing his way through the traffic. And yeah, Marco's now got HPD behind him to worry about, as well as a Porsche coming through 3 wide. Some great shots. I mean, there always was on the old Proto GT when we had some 3 wide action and things like that. But it's nice to see the P1s in there. A crash, I think, for Dominic Farber. Yeah, what's gone on? Certainly jumped back to the pits. So, oh dear. Well, that's bit him. Suspension damage there. Just got a little bit out of shape coming out the corner wide on the curb, and a massive bump hit him and just literally spat him across. It was actually the correction, wasn't it, that ended up firing him into the wall. It snapped back on him, and yeah.
Yeah, these gravel traps on the exit of the chicanes and of the corners here at Monza, I don't know why, but they are absolutely so dangerous, and they are so bumpy. You try to correct, you try to get back on the gas as soon as possible, and yeah, that could be the end result sometimes. To finish what I was saying about the LMP2s, they were the car that everybody was afraid of back in the day, you know? You remember the noob missile kind of...
That's it, damn HPD drivers.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the nice people saying it, you know? I'm sure it was a lot worse back in the day, but yeah.
Now you are in I think the toughest spot, because not only you still have to lap the GTs, but now you are basically a sitting duck for the LMP1s. So you always have to have an eye out. Maybe you are looking to make a pass on a GT car, and all of a sudden you get a Porsche LMP1s coming from behind at the very last second, and you know, sometimes they get to you so fast. Even when you are in a P2 car, these LMP1s can close the gap so quickly. It's very, very difficult. And once again, I think this car is so hard to drive.
I was talking to the teammates a little bit. Also, I haven't been racing the World Championship this year. Just time, unfortunately, real work commitments just got in the way of practice, really. And but so that's kind of why I jumped in the P1s. But just, you know what? I'm just so sick and tired of driving cars with energy this and saving that. And yeah. It's nice to see so many HPDs on there, because it's old, naturally, you know, aspirated car, and you can just race. You know, you haven't got to worry about it. That's what I like about this car. And I think perhaps, you know, a few people, now that the series has got some good participation, you know, there's a lot of people like, actually, do you know what, this car is a lot of fun to drive, and you haven't got a faff with all that stuff. does make it make it a bit of a pleasure to drive. So it's good to see the turnout here.
Speaking of, I can speak from my team's perspective, and the HPD has become our go-to endurance car. So we will have, I think, 3 teams at the Le Mans 24 Hours, all running the HPD, because you're right. And I can't wait for the global LMP2 or DPI to come to iRacing, because those cars are still very, very fast, but they are race cars with just an engine and 4 wheels, and not all these very interesting, but I think very, very complicated systems. And when they will replace the HPD, it's going to be great to see it, because these new LMP2 prototypes, I think they are amazing. Beautiful design. The American ones are even better, for little manufacturer personalization. You can get the Cadillac DPI or the Nissan. I think they could get, for example, the Lara prototype, which has been converted to a Cadillac in North America. So maybe you get 2 for the price of 1 or something like that. But it would be cool to have it, because they are beautiful race cars, and that's why I like the European Le Mans series, because they don't have the LMP1s in the way. As we see Timo Aiden going very, very slowly.
I think he did just come out of the pits. Some issue. I'm not really sure what happened there, but yeah. Registered that on the overlay system, so we'll have a little look. See what's Stick's just got past it.
Yeah, he made a move on Antcliffe. He was sitting behind him a few laps ago, if you remember, in the traffic.
Let's see the move. Into the Roger. I want to say a fairly standard move for that, but not so easy to do still. Got the run, good on the brakes, didn't compromise the exit, was able to finish it off. So yeah, up to 3rd place. He's got 5.7 seconds now to make up. We're about halfway through the race, so we could see him get back to the front. I tell you what, that'll be a hell of a drive if he managed to do that after that slowdown penalty on lap 2.
Yeah, he's showing some amazing pace, I think, after what happened to him, the slowdown. So to be on the podium, I think is amazing for him, but he will be trying to get those 2 leaders in front of him, as we are 1 minute away from the halfway mark, and I think the LMP1s are about to come in for their stop.
Yeah, we actually have got some P2s that have come in already as well. I don't know if that's just random early stops, but yeah, just catching up with our race leader. It's the only problem when you're out front by miles and there's no battles going on around you. You don't get an awful lot of airtime. So sorry, Patrick. Yeah, we've not had any overtakes for you for us to show. So yeah, we'll show you pit stop instead. There you go. That was timing, wasn't it?
So he's the first LMP1 guy to pit, and he pits from the lead. And every race we've done, it's been around the 30-minute mark when the LMP1s have been in. Graphics are up. You can see on the bottom the total pit lane time and the pit time. And he's in pole position, so he will have the last pit stall available, as Mittner also is in from the 2nd position. Also Rensen is in.
Yeah.
So all the guys are entering the pit lane.
As long as they're over the half an hour mark, that's what matters, isn't it? I know some circuits, these cars are a bit tight on making it on 1 stop of fuel, and so not the case. Team here, it should be quite comfortable, I think, as we're over the 30-minute mark. Now he's been stationary, so good clean stop from Patrick. Of course, the graphics on the bottom, if you haven't seen it, you don't know what it is before. The left-hand time that's counting up, that is the total time in the pit lane, and then in the brackets, that's how long they were stationary for as well. Get a rough idea of what's there. And of course, it's live positions within the pit lane there, so as they're swapping and changing positions, they will slide to the left and right for you.
So all the LMP1s are in the pits, or have already gone in the pits and came out. So that's the LMP1 pit stops sorted, I think, yes. And we wait for the other cars, as I said. Of course, the GTs will go as long as they can, unless they've got some crazy calculating spotter on their hand to tell them stop now so you get out of the traffic. But I think it's impossible. Today Monza is not very long, and it's also a very, very fast track, so it's going to be bound to be traffic everywhere every time you pit. And in between them, there will be the LMP2 stops, which I think will start in around 10 minutes time, maybe even a little bit more.
Yeah, I wonder if someone can confirm on the chat. So obviously, I know the P1s are restricted on fuel, having drove the car in the series. But is it the same with the P2 and the GTE? Does anyone know what the fuel restrictions are on those? What percentage wise? Good little battle going on in P2 actually. Here it is, and as soon as it's sort of spiced up, it kind of calmed down again. But I think that sort of traffic causing that. So Marco Jagger trying to get onto the back of Ronnie's car. Yeah, Tim just confirming on the chat, all cars are restricted on fuel. Just wasn't sure what the percentages were, that was all. Okay. Mark, I'm not able to actually get a run on the straight there at all. I'm quite surprised of that. I thought it was close enough to pick up enough of a draft to maybe get a move. Let's have a look at the top speeds between the two. And actually, even that lap, Money was slightly quicker. So perhaps different aero trims going on out there. 75% on all cars. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Very hard on the curbs there. At the limit of the slowdown zone, basically, because a little bit to the right, and you get tagged with the dreaded slowdown. Even though at this point in the race, it's not as bad as in the beginning, but you still don't want to have it because it can create all sorts of trouble, especially with multi-class racing.
I do love this track as well. I mean, the fact that it does force you to a slightly lower trim and makes some of these higher speed corners that much more trickier than they would otherwise be. This time maybe 0.4 of a second back. Are we going to pick up the enough draft? And use the GTE to try and help. It's minimal, isn't it? Very, very minimal. It's going to be a difficult job. Maybe he's got a little bit more pace, Marco. Marco should jump into the box a bit earlier and try and get some sort of one lap undercut or something like that. I mean, I know you can't go in too early because of the fuel. You'll be slower on heavier fuel, but it might just be an opportunity for one lap or so just to get that undercut.
Yeah, looks somewhat clean behind them. I mean, way behind them on the track map. As we see a replay here, Sylvain Morin. Let's see what happened. Slapping a GT car, hard on the brakes.
Oh. Yeah, okay, slow down for that. Got away with that a little bit, so it could have been nasty. And I tell you what, when these things lock up, they just plow straight on as well.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
Yeah, so tricky. Like other cars, you can sort of get the car to a turn, but these, no chance.
Absolutely,
so
no
careful
chance.
of the lockups. Getting pretty tasty for fourth place now.
Yeah, the two top Porsche guys, Michele Ricci and Cedric Nebelsiek, are running basically bumper to bumper. They were very close at the chicane. Of course, due to the accordion effect, it gets a little bit bigger, the gap on the straights, but gets close again at the chicane. And I think Moser is looking very angry as well behind them, so looking for the smallest of mistakes from these two guys with his Ferrari. And the prediction, I think, were right at the beginning of the race. The the Ferraris are looking extremely fast today, and the Porsche have had no answers basically. The gap between fourth and fifth and the leaders is very, very big, as we see.
I just wanted to point out that the LMP2 field is in the pit.
Yeah,
Literally, the whole
field.
thing pretty much just jumped into the pit. So Justin's out and away. So, but yeah, I just had to go to that just for a second.
Yeah, all our talk about undercutting not going to be a part of the race today, I think. And the same can be said, I think, for these guys here, because like we said multiple times, they are going to stop as late as possible. So the battles will be resolved on track, I think. And Nevesik is looking very, very good. He's got a good exit from the Parabolica. But once again, the slipstream, yeah, it's working. Side by side here. It's going to be extremely close, and there's also an LMP1 there making the move. Great pass by the German driver, and he gets P4. That was a very, very clean move considering, and we didn't know that there was an LMP1 coming around these guys. So good move there, and he gets P4.
It's tricky there because Ricky couldn't even sort of defend, couldn't even squeeze to the middle of the circuit because of the P1 coming. So sometimes it is a bit frustrating with the multi-class. But yeah, I think he did the right thing there, just leaving enough room. Lives to fight another day. So pit stop's coming up for those guys soon. So just stay in reach. Top 5 is still going to be a good result with this strength of field. No, it's not going to hurt his points at all. But yeah, I think after, what was it, lap 1, where he was in 3rd place, perhaps Michele would have wanted a little bit more out of this race.
Yeah, or maybe something must have happened, nothing major, but there must have been some kind of contact there, or Michele did an exceptionally good start because he was able to jump to P3, but then again, after these guys sorted themselves out, the Ferraris were absolutely in a league of their own, and or I should say the top 3 Ferraris, because then there's a mix of Ferraris and Porsches all the way through the last position in GT. I think there's no Ford that is confirmed, so
no Ford.
Nobody showed up in the Ford. I have no idea why. And we get a replay here of Jack Sedgwick.
This is going to be him taking 2nd place in class as well. So we missed that one earlier on. But down and into turn 1, good on the brakes, nails the apex, no problem, and the 2nd one as well. Good move, slowly been chipping away at that gap. Come down and yeah, great move up and into 2nd place.
Good move, yeah, very, very good move, and very, very aggressive on these curves, as the LMP1s come right once again to lap the GTs, and that disrupts a little bit the battle. But it's multi-class racing, so it is expected, I think. As Nesi goes a bit wide there.
You can always get away with that here, though, can't you, at Monza? I think that's the thing. People think it's going to slow you down, but actually, it really doesn't, unless you absolutely take the mickey with it. Kind of don't get slowed down at all.
You have to avoid the bumps. If you avoid the bumps, you can go pretty much. You can use a little bit of that gravel or grass there, as we see. Pascal Sticks, I think he's closing on Neil Andrews, and is now just on the outskirts of a second of a gap, so he can smell the pass, I think, and he will try to get it completed as quick as possible. 20 minutes to go in this race. You see a lot of dirt being kicked up by these cars on the racing line, so there have been some offs there, of course, at the exit of the Roger chicane.
Always a favourite, isn't it, that corner, just to pull the gravel onto the circuit. Just while we've got everybody here as well, just tuned in, just thanks very much for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the like button if you've enjoyed the video and the broadcast. It helps the channel out. And yeah, subscribe as well if you want to catch up on some of the other action that we've got. Of course, it's not just the Le Mans series, we have some league racing, and yeah, in pretty much any and every car now, a bunch of GT3 stuff, and there's some MX-5s and some Kia, and we've got the F1 series as well on Sunday, some V8 supercar if you fancy that as well. So there's a whole lot of different stuff. going on here in the channel. So yeah, if you're interested in it, just hit that subscribe button. Thanks very much. That's it, plug over, mate. Back to the racing.
Yeah, with Andrews was able to maintain the position now, and the gap is still not very close because, well, it is close, but the traffic there helped him a little bit, even though Styx is closing and closing and closing. 0.6 of a second right now, and I think Andrews has got not a very good exit from the first chicane, which was once called the Goodyear chicane, but now I just think it's called the first chicane. So always a problem with the corner names. I remember the old version, and it was like a left, right back in the days. They changed it to have less crashes, and it of course created more crashes.
Just having a look at the sort of the drop-off between Andrews. All of a sudden, that gap's really sort of built up. I wonder what was going on there and why the change. But it just looks like it was the pit stop. Actually, the driver I want to focus on is Styx, to see that gap to the leader coming down as well. So coming down pretty quickly, and I think, you know, he's going to be there. Definitely the end of the race. Just got to get this. It's got to get moved on for P2 first, and then we'll see him hunt it down. Cedric Nebelsiak, he's into the pits and on the way out. So one of the first. I say one of the first. One of the last GTEs to jump into the box.
Yeah, and Richie got him with the undercut, if we can say that. So he's back into P4, yeah, but I expect a good fight from Cedric to get back to P4. He has a little bit more pace than Michele, I think, so it's going to be a battle. And Moser, of course, still there behind these guys, waiting and waiting and waiting, looking for a mistake. And Styx still hasn't made the move on Andrews, and of course the more time it takes for him, then better it is for Justin Hope in front and in the lead, because he's going to lose a little bit of time behind his opponent.
Yeah, you can see the difference as I was just fumbling on the graphic there. You can see the difference in the pit lane time there as well. So a whole second different, really, and that's where he got himself in front. So made all the difference.
Hopefully, he has enough fuel.
That's nailing the entry, isn't it? Really, more than anything.
Hopefully, it is that and not enough fuel.
Well, yeah, that's true. I could look at stationary time for you as well. Let me just work out that. No, I see. Stationary time is about the same. So there you go. That's yeah. So it's all to do with nailing the entry there, or job from Michele.
Yeah, but now
right, what we got going on out there, really, this battle is definitely the one we need to look. This is for second in class. Styx, surely. Oh, there's not enough room there. Well, he's made enough room. Onto the brakes hard. And he's through. Gonna have to look at that from outside the car, I think, because that would have been a great move. And he's got quite an advantage already, so let's see this one back again. Andrews just didn't close it off quick enough, did he? Oh, there was just enough room there. I'd say that was aggressive defending, but so fair. And then just saw it's a little bit out of shape through the Della Roggia. Good move. Good battling.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things I like, you know, this battle lasted for basically 5-6 laps with Andrews defending and Styx trying first to close the gap and then trying to make the move. He had to work for it, and he now will try to catch his class leader, who is of course Justin Hope. 3.6 seconds ahead.
Well, keep an eye on that one for a few laps. What else is going on out there right now? Any P? Well, let's just check in with what's going on in the P1 class right now. So Wolf leads. He's got a 36.5 second lead. Actually, let's take a quick look at the interval, and then a further 17 seconds back. Thierry as well. So top three massively separation. There is a little bit of a battle going on out there, and this is it right now on screen.
As always, Neumann and Kroderline, they've been battling all race long, these two guys, and they have no intention to stop. Sadly, the timer will come to a stop in 30 minutes time, so it will be the end of their battle. But they've pretty much been battling for the entire race.
Yeah, that'll continue. And actually, there's a little battle. They're catching up with somebody else there as well, aren't they? That's Sylvian that they're catching up with. So he was about 2 or 3 seconds clear a moment ago. So I'm not quite sure what happened there. Just goes to show you catch the traffic in the wrong place, and it really, really compromises you.
I think he had two LMP2s side by side in front of him coming into the Roggia, so he had to slow down or make a very aggressive move, and that's how you lose a couple of seconds basically on the spot. Trying to defend his top 5 here, and he's not busy with two very, very fast drivers behind him.
Yeah, just all of a sudden it's that separation. Just checking in then with P2, 3.5 seconds is the lead for Justin Hope, but he's under pressure, I would say. That gap is coming down, although on our intervals timing it looks like it's going up at the moment, but I'll put that down to traffic. It starts to go the other way. And Andrew's in third, and then there's sort of a reasonable battle sort of around Paul Antcliffe here. He's got Jagger just behind him, so. And they're not too far behind Ronnie, who is in fourth.
Yeah, they move on the outside.
Move, yeah.
Can he make the car stop? He can, hard on the curbs. Oh, and Antcliffe a little bit sideways there, has to yield, so change of position for P5 in the P2 class with just over 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, good solid move. So yeah, up and into P5, nice. And then again, let's just see what's going on. GTE is pretty close actually. There's a good couple of battles starting to form up just behind. Well, actually, we must have missed this because all of a sudden, he's dropped down to sort of 6th place. So we'll check in and we'll find out how that happened. Here we go. Should be a replay coming up on screen now. It's going to be traffic related, I think. D in there. Oh, gets out of shape and just absolutely compromised his line. That's the worst, isn't it? Absolutely the worst. Just a little bit out of shape and couldn't go anywhere otherwise. Just smashed straight into the P2 driver there, and 2 places lost.
It could have been worse because it could have been a big crash. If he hit the P2 with a little more speed, he could have turned the P2 around. That would have been disaster, of course. But he is now in front of Moser once again, so P5 it is. These guys are battling, and Andrews is back into 2nd position.
Yeah, I think I know why. It's about what we're going to see on screen, and that might well put pay to any chance of... Oh, no!
I have to say, Alex, I was expecting a lot more of this tonight, but
yeah, I'm surprised we haven't seen much more than that. Actually, I really am. So, but yeah, that hurt Sticks big time. That any chance he had at a win is gone now. I'm afraid there's just not enough time, I think, to catch up. It's 7 seconds between our leader really and these guys battling. So yeah, that was unfortunate. Another driver who's having a lot of offs at the moment is Jack Sedgwick. He's gone off a couple of times now, and
oh man,
well,
what's
there
going
we
on?
go.
They
Well,
were so patient at the beginning of the race, and now, well, it's a big crash for him, and
put him down to third place as well. He's struggling getting the car turned around, or maybe just wants to make some good patterns on the.
no, but now he's got Cedric sitting right behind him, I think. As Ricci once again lost the position on Moser, so it's all going on in the battle for third, fourth, fifth, and sixth in GT. Usually you see more chaos in the beginning and less at the end. Oh no, Michele, no, don't do that, don't do that.
Reverse gear in the
Now
chicane,
traffic
always.
jam. Oh, and another hit for good measure. I think it is on the. It's on the Italian drivers. It's his fault. I think he was very optimistic under the brakes there, Michele, and that will end his chance at a P4 finish. Just like I was saying that usually you see a lot of chaos in the beginning, and then everybody calms down, they settle their nerves, and they cruise to the finish line. It has been the exact opposite tonight. In these past few minutes, we've seen a couple of very avoidable accidents, I think, as Styx tries to make a move once again on Andrews. At the first chicane, we'll have to wait a little bit. 7 minutes to go.
Has been a good race. Oh, my screen has just lit up with red event viewer, so it usually indicates some kind of crash. So let's just see what's happened here. This could just be a missed chicane or something, though, just the same. Just note it, just recognize it, massive differences in speed. Oh, exactly, that's what it was, just a huge lockup. Look at the jitter on the car there as well. So stiff, the suspension setup there for Pascal. And Sandra also having a problem, I think.
Oh, yes.
Well, yeah, that's a big one.
Big
one.
Also, I think
Henry's raced, he's still out there, but he's down in 8th place now. So
I think, I think Ugo Preto has got some kind of problem as well. The Spanish driver. Let's see what happened here. Goes around at the first chicane.
Self spin really, just a little bit hot into the corner, I think, and caused that one.
So these two guys battling all day long, having a little bit of contact there at the first chicane a couple of laps ago. Barry Morrison trying to gain an advantage.
Yeah, they've kind of let him in, haven't they? With all of this fighting, he's in the draft, and I think motivation will be high on his side. He needs to use the draft. Look at those.
Oh man!
Just excuse me, coming through. Pardon me.
Another LMP1 coming through on the right at the Parabolica as we are 5 minutes away from the checkered flag here at Monza.
See that battle ahead as
Moser makes the move. It's a good move. And now Morrison tries to get in the party as well, try to gain one position. We see Richie's Porsche looks damaged on the front and on the rear. I think due to that crash with Moser in the previous laps. Good run here for Morrison on the outside.
good on the brakes, and the Team Bushfink driver goes through.
that green and blue Porsche looks definitely second hand there. Lot of damage. Of course, it was all of Michele's doing, I'm afraid, because he was over optimistic there. And Styx and Andrews are still battling. This has been going on for, I think, half an hour, maybe even a bit more.
Yeah, that's going to go all the way to the wire. I do want to have a quick look at this battle as well. This is for 6th place in class. Obviously, 3 drivers involved. Timo Harden, Paul Antcliffe, and Tanama behind. Driver into the pits as well. Patrick Moser into the pits. Don't know what that was about, but he's had to jump back to the pits. So obvious crash for him. Just tune in and see what that was about, shall we? Oh, yeah, that's going to end your day.
That is where I flipped my Cadillac, like I was talking before. And
fair enough, I think, at that point, isn't he?
yeah, I went on the pits just as a matter of frustration, and I think I understand him, because fighting so hard all race long and battling and having a lot of contact, and then you make a silly mistake, and that was his race basically, with a couple of minutes left to go. Too bad, because he entertained us with a great battle with Ricci and also with Sedgwick and Nebelsiak as well. So it was a good run for him. Too bad he had to end that way.
Turn up the inside. Good move for him. Past Paul Antcliffe. Marco Jagger obviously with some problems, with major damage. So that's why he's dropping down the order. Minute and 20 to go. Where is our leader right now? Coming up the back straight into Ascari. So he'll finish this lap, and the white flag will come out, and one more after this.
Yeah, not much left for these drivers to get their moves done or to defend their position. Leader is going to get the white flag 100% at this time around. Look at Styx trying to find some space at the Ascari. Maybe as a great run coming out of the Ascari chicane.
Yeah, Andrew's defending the inside very early. Stick's going to have to go around the outside. Can he make this stick? Can't, but he will get an absolute phenomenal run out of the Parabolica. Surely this is his best opportunity. No better time to do it as they come on to the final lap of the race. Of course, our race leader is already come across the start-finish line, so this will be the last lap for these guys too. Side by side into turn 1. Who's the bravest on the brakes? They're pretty even. Sticks around the outside. Can he make it stick? There's not a lot of room. A little bit of wheel spin. And Andrews got much better drive. That was good driving from Andrews.
It's not over. Sticks will go, I think, for a desperation move. Good block on the outside there. And now on the inside. Be careful. That was so close there. Six was very hard on the brakes, and now Andrews has got a little bit of a gap, not much, but he can use it.
Oh, a bit of traffic just to spice it up as well. I've got to jump away from the battle. I'm so sorry, guys, because here comes Patrick Wolf around the final corner to complete the race win here. Absolute phenomenal performance. 43 will be probably 44 seconds in front by the time he crosses the line. Absolutely fantastic race. All credit to him. But we go back to this battle.
They're going to be side by side on the back straightaway as they come to the Parabolica corner. Styx has got the outside once again. Traffic in front of them. Defending on the inside is Andrews.
Oh, squeezing him on the way, and he needed to. It's going to be an absolute drag race to the start-finish line.
It will be.
Oh, I got no idea. Look at the delta timer there. It's so close.
And Andrews takes it. Wow. 4 1/1000ths of a second, I think. As all the GT cars have gone across the start-finish line, except for the 2 leaders, I think.
Yeah, first and second, they're quite a way apart. 9 seconds separate them, but everyone else has. Of course, so Sedgwick managed to hold on to third to his accident. Belset fourth. Morrison did hold on to fifth, so good drive from him. We'll just wait for our leader
Of
come
course,
across.
kudos to Justin Hop for bringing home the P2 race victory. We were so focused on
sorry,
that
Justin.
P2 battle there. And you see Gianni Vecchio, he's from Germany, but his origins are clearly from Italy, and he's very happy, I think, to bring home the race victory here at Monza in the GT, and Marco Nesi will finish second. The Ferrari proved the better machine today.
Yeah, great drive. Marco coming across. He's run out of fuel, so if Jack had managed to stay on the lead lap, might well have had him. Just want to pop the replay back. Just checker flag has just come out at this point, but I just we need to give this man a fair shout out, I think, because he's drove absolutely fantastic as well through the race. That's Justin Hump. Didn't really make a mistake. I didn't see him put a foot wrong all race, and that's why he's ended up with a 7.5 second lead at the end of this one. So phenomenal race from him. Managed everything out there as he needed to, and yeah, got himself a fantastic race win.
Absolutely well deserved for Justin. Great win.
Yeah, well deserves that little wiggle to celebrate. All right, let me just pull the results in, and we'll bring them up on the screen.
Yes, as we see the trees swaying in the wind here at Monza. The LMP1 Patrick Wolf is the race winner, 44 seconds over Michael Midner, then Thierry Rensen, Michel Swansel, and Sylvain Morin, the top 5. Then Arkadiusz Neumann, Pascal Koderlein, Sayandra, Davis Oranzo, Dominic Ferber, and Joseph Barton Harris. Then for the LMP2 class, Justin Hop wins the race over Neil Andrews and Pascal Stix. So close, these two guys. And Ronnie Durig, Timo Hayden, Tanner McCulloch, Paul Antliff, Marco Jäger, René Penkit, Jose Ferpa, and Jesper Dlika in P11. And finally, we have the GTE field with Gianni Vecchio bringing in the race win over Marco Gabriele Nesi, then Jack Sedgwick, Cedric De Belsiek, Barry Morrison, Michele Ricci, Nathan Parkinson, Domen Ganta, Ruco Preto, Andy Pers, Patrick Moser, Christopher Dambitz, and Mark Matten. And that will be all for the race results. And I think we are waiting for the drivers to come and talk to us in the post-race interviews.
Yeah, anyone wants to, feel free to jump in. It's just Apex Racing TV Discord. If you don't know what that is, I will post it in the chat for you.
As we wait for the drivers to come, I think just have a quick look at what's going on in the Le Mans series, because basically we are this is the first race of the second half of the season, basically, and next week we will have Silverstone, 60-minute race, then still 60 minutes 2 weeks later at Watkins Glen, the boot configuration. I can't wait for that. Then it's going to be Le Mans, Daytona at night, and Sebring. So the back end of this calendar, Alex, is absolutely amazing. With of course, Silverstone is a great track, but then Watkins Glen, Le Mans, Daytona, and Sebring all back to back to back to back. It's going to be amazing, especially that night race at Daytona is going to have like a very, very endurance feeling to it, even though it's only 60 minutes.
Yeah, that should be a decent run in, actually. I will look forward to having a little play, I think, on those few last tracks. So, yeah, should be good. Well, no one's coming for interview, so we'll wrap up the show, I think. It's going to be the easiest way. Marco, thanks very much for jumping in. It was a great broadcast. It was a great race, actually. I really enjoyed that. I mean, I know there wasn't too much P1 battling going on out there. Patrick, why don't you just play with them a little bit more, mate? Make it interesting for us. Yeah. But actually, the P2 race was really, really good today, as was the GTE. So phenomenal battles going on out there, and who knew where that was going to go until the last couple of laps, really. So it's what we like to see, and I'm hoping we'll get the same again next week. Coming up tomorrow, of course, we've got the return of the BSRTC, and that is at Snetterton. We're off on Friday night, nothing airing there, but then on Saturday, I believe, actually it's quite quiet on Saturday, isn't there? There's no Euro V8 and there's no World Championship or anything this week, so it will just be the Sim Racers Asia Series, which is GT3, I believe. Or is it GTE now? I think it is GTE now, isn't it? Yeah, it's GTE.
GTE at Monza.
At Monza as well. So
more
yeah,
of the same. If you like the GT race, you're going to like that even more.
That'll be good. And then on the Sunday, it's the return of the BSR Grand Tour, which is GT3. So lots of GT racing here this week. Marco, thanks again.
Thank you,
everybody for tuning in and watching the stream. Thanks for the likes. Feel free to give us a few more. That would be greatly appreciated. We'll be back next week. I don't think it'll be me in the booth. I believe it'll be Sam, Ryan, and Samuli Kumo doing the broadcast, I believe. So, don't forget to tune in for that one, guys, and give them a thumbs up over there. But, once again, thanks a lot. We've been Apex Racing TV, and this has been the Monza round of the iRacing Le Mans series. Great wins from Patrick Wolf, Justin Hock, and Gianni Vecchio. We will see you in a few hours, really. It's going to be. Thanks again. Bye for now.